Good morning, I'm Alex Corradetti. We continue to celebrate the history of our state with our year-long Tennessee 225 series. Today, we highlight one of country music's biggest stars and speak with his family for the very first time since his passing. Charley Pride. Some know him as one of the greatest country artists of all time.
He became the second biggest seller on RCA next to Elvis Presley.
Others know him as a friend, husband, or dad.
It always has been a rush to watch my dad perform.
Charley Pride was born on March 18, 1934 in Sledge, Mississippi. He was one of 11 children and had a passion for both baseball and music. Pride pursued a career in the Negro American League.
He was a pitcher. He also fashioned himself as a fine hitter and played in organized baseball for a long part of his young life.
Peter Cooper with the Country Music Hall of Fame explains Pride played for the Memphis Red Sox, the Birmingham Black Barons, and the Pioneer League in Montana, all while performing music on the side. An injury ended Pride's baseball career, but another curveball soon followed. Songwriter Cowboy Jack Clement became a champion of Pride's musical talent. He encouraged Chet Atkins of RCA Records to sign him. Pride released his first hit song, Just Between You and Me, in 1966. This led him to major stardom, eventually recording more than 50 singles that reached the top 10 on country music charts. As Pride rose to success, he never forgot about what mattered most.
Charley Pride was most concerned with his family, and his wife, Rosine, was by his side all the time.
They had 3 children together. His kids say Pride never took time with them for granted.
I only get so much time with him. I'm not going to waste it. And so he followed through with that, and a lot of the times that we were together, it was always a learning session.
Dion Pride recalls one of his favorite childhood memories, when his father asked him to come into the kitchen to meet a friend.
I was speechless. All I could do was stand there and go, you're, and he said, that's right, I'm Ernie Banks, okay? If you're familiar with baseball at all, that's Mr. Cup, right? Ernie Banks. He said, when I tell you this, I want you to know it's true because I played against him. He said, your dad was a great ball player.
Dion says his father's music and work ethic inspired him.
Everything that my father did, I thought was fabulous.
At a young age, Dion decided to follow in Charley's musical footsteps.
Underneath all your heart of stone.
That would be something he would be most proud of is the imprint that he has left on certain people's lives, namely mine. If anybody asked me to play any songs other than his, it offended me. I was actually offended. Yes, I would tell people I don't do anybody else's songs but my dad's. If you want to hear one of my dad's songs.
He says there was nothing like seeing him perform on tour.
I felt levitated off the floor that day because it was so overwhelming. I've always told people how much better could it get than performing with somebody who's in the Country Music Hall of Fame on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. And not only that, he's your dad.
In 1971, Pride won the Country Music Association's Entertainer of the Year award. Pride went on to win several Grammys and was the first Black member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. In November of 2020, Pride went to the CMAs to accept the Lifetime Achievement Award and performed what no one knew would be his last song, Kiss an Angel Goodmornin'. Shortly after, Pride's health took a turn.
They weren't sure if it was COVID or not. They were treating him for pneumonia. And my mother had a CDC specialist come in, and they said, no, this is COVID.
Pride was then admitted to the ICU.
The toughest part was not getting to see him when he was coherent. It was so hard because, I couldn't have a conversation with him. It was tough to see such a strong man labor and suffer the way he did. It was November 12th he got home, and December 12th we're laying him in that state. It was just all so sudden.
Pride passed in Dallas at the age of 86 due to COVID-19 complications. Dion says it was difficult to get on stage again.
The first show, I had 2 shows. The first show, I spent the first 3 songs crying, because it was a tribute to him. And it was pretty tough. The second show was euphoric because it felt more like a celebration.
Dion says although he feels cheated by the way his dad died, he looks upon their relationship with a smile.
The one thing that I always feared that, if he passed like he did before I was ready for it, I wondered if there would be any regrets, or anything. 0. And that tells me we lived a full life together. I'm proud at this point when I look in the mirror because I can see him. And I think that's a great thing. For me, it is. For my healing, at least, it is to be able to look in the mirror and see him. I always told people that I never had to go past my front door for a role model.
Memories and music that will always live on. In Nashville, Alex Corradetti, News 2.